Niners fam, Red Gold GM time of the year, and Teran's become a veteran now. Teran, this has got to be his third or fourth one at least, and he always does a great job. So got to go back and get Teran. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Ronbo. How are you?
Oh, damn. I tell you, man, this is going to be one of the most anticipated seasons of the year. And it starts now, Darren, because, the players we pick up, a lot of these guys, I figure by now, we should all be used to how to handle this team, what it needs. Darren, your expertise has got to have shot up to the next level already. If I tell y'all, I've already looked at Terran's draft before you get to hear it, so I know, man, Terran, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It was funny because, as you know, I submitted my draft to you on Thursday. We had trade Friday, so I had to scramble and make some changes. So,
see, only certain kind of minds could be that quick to react and get it done. That was, in fact, I should have mentioned earlier. Teran had to hustle to readjust his whole setup. So that was amazing, Teran. You see, this is what I'm talking about, man. Y'all be knowing what you're doing, man. I don't watch enough college football. I've been checking out more and more guys because my schedule during the day can be rough sometimes, so I don't get a chance to do it. So that's why I depend on you, Lee, and others for your brilliant shots at what's supposed to be doing. So, Teran, let's get you started right now. Are you ready?
Yeah, no problem, sir. Appreciate you having me on once again.
Thank
you. Yeah, no problem. So before we start, I want to thank the Niner fan for tuning in. I appreciate your support and stuff. And I want to give a shout out to Tony and Lee because it's not hard putting together a draft when you're trying to look at the needs and stuff like that. I think they did a pretty good job. So appreciate Tony and Lee for taking the time and doing their drafts 2 weeks ago and last week as well. So all right, Niner fam, ready to get this draft started. As you guys know, that trade from 12 to 3 kind of put a monkey wrench in things. So, but I feel like it was for the better. I mean, I feel like we have a Super Bowl team. I feel like our roster is pretty good. We have a couple pieces that are missing from the 2019 season, with Sherman not being here and DeForest Buckner. But I feel like, I don't know what the numbers are, but I think we're returning at least 17 of the 22 starters from that Super Bowl team, which ain't bad.
It really is, especially with the situation with the cap and everything. Oh my God!
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're doing pretty good. I got to give props to our upper management, I guess you can say, for how they've done and trying to bring back the pieces to help this team succeed. And and if people were kind of down last year, and I get it, we had only 6 wins, but that's pretty good for how much injuries that we had last year. And part of the blame was a starting quarterback being hurt. So, and I'm sure Kyle and John are kind of getting tired of that situation. So I feel like that was the prompt, trade to move up into the top 3. So looking at the trade, it was kind of hard for me because I feel like as I'm looking at the mock, I feel like Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson will go 1 and 2. And I feel like Kyle and John were comfortable making this trade because there were 3 quarterbacks who they feel they were comfortable taking at number 3. You don't take this trade, assuming somebody is going to be there. I think they were looking at, boom, boom, boom. These 3 quarterbacks will be there. Whichever one falls in our lap, I'm comfortable taking. And in saying that, I don't think we trade up from 12 to 3 to take Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is a little too rich for my blood. He might be the most NFL ready out of the 3 remaining quarterbacks, and him, Fields, and Lance.
Teran, do you think that? Do you think Mac Jones would be the one most ready for the NFL?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think him and Trevor Lawrence are probably the most NFL ready. I think Zach Wilson is gonna have a learning curve. Trey Lance will have a learning curve, or so will Justin Fields. I think Jones and Lawrence can start probably day 1, in my opinion. But I just think Mac Jones is too rich for my blood at number 3. So in saying that, with the 3rd pick in the 2021 NFL draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance, quarterback out of North Dakota State.
All right.
It was down to him and Fields. And I was looking at the chat before we started, and people were funny because they were saying, well, we'll see when Justin Fields has his pro day on Tuesday. These teams do not bank their future on a pro day. They've seen enough. They've seen enough film. They've seen enough game film to know
True.
what they can do. Nobody's going to
Agreed.
bank their future on, oh, he had a great pro day. When there's no pass rush, there's no, there's nobody coming at you. It's just
None of the
so
environment's
if
not the same. Exactly. I
exactly,
fully
and if
agree.
that was the case, if they were waiting for pro days, they would have waited to make this trade on Wednesday after Justin Fields did his pro day. So for
More
people to for
logic.
people
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So for people thinking we're making trades or selecting a QB on a pro day, that's silly. So I like Trey Lance. I think he has the most upside out of the three remaining quarterbacks who I feel are still going to be there. And everybody says, well, he only played 14 games or whatever. Well, so did Zach Wilson. So did Kyler Murray. So did there's a few quarterbacks that only played a season of football and have success. So. And I know you look at Kyle's history, he usually has that pocket quarterback, but I think he feels he knows the game's evolving, and he knows that, and I've heard him say that, he respects the games of like Josh Allen, of Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, his quarterbacks now who can make every throw but still can run when the play breaks down. And I feel like with Trey Lance, he sees that upside. I mean, this dude has a cannon of an arm. He can make every throw. He's only 20 years old. He won't be 21 till like the middle of May, which is
Whoa.
amazing too. Yeah, this
I
kid
didn't know
is,
he
I
was.
mean, he's
He's
well
such
put
a
together.
You're right. He's such a big guy. You just don't
Yeah,
realize he's still a child.
yeah. And I think, us drafting him, he doesn't have to start right away if we keep Jimmy. I think Jimmy will probably play, hopefully he gives us a great season where, his trade value will skyrocket. But even if Jimmy
Mm,
doesn't do well hurt, I feel like Josh Rosen will play. And
mm.
Josh Rosen will play because he'll know the playbook more than Trey Lance. So I think Trey Lance, if we get him or Justin Fields, but I feel like it's going to be Trey Lance that he can sit, watch, learn, just like Patrick Mahomes did, so he can get that time in the playbook and learn. So that's who I would go with number 3 overall.
Mm. Like it.
Yeah, all right. So for the second round, this is pretty difficult for me because I look at our roster. I feel like all of our starters are set in stone, but the two positions I worry about most are wide receiver and corner, just because of injuries. I like the fact they brought back Jason Verrett. We have Emmanuel Mosley
Yeah.
coming back K1, so our starters are back.
Yeah.
But all it takes is one injury for
I know.
somebody to
Oh
to
God.
step down, and you're not putting K1 on the outside.
Mm-mm.
He's nickel.
Too
We
small.
don't know we don't know what we have in Tim Harris yet. At the same time, as much as I worry about corner, I worry about wide receiver more because regardless of the depth that we have, I feel like our depth doesn't scare anybody. Ayuk and Debo are definitely our number 1 and 2. I'm not worried about them. However,
Mm.
I do worry about Debo because them hamstring injuries
They never
bother me a
stop.
little bit. Yeah, he's been having them since I want to say his sophomore year in high school, junior year in high school, and those things. Yeah, but those things
Not
linger.
even college. They started way back in
Yeah,
high
no,
school.
yeah, and those things linger. Like when you have a bad hamstring and once you tear it, it can be something that keeps coming back up over and
Yeah.
over again. And I feel like if Debo were to get hurt, we have nobody else on the outside. We don't know the status of Hurt. Jalen Hurd, Jawan Williams. I mean, sorry, yeah, Jawan Jennings. Sorry, we don't know his status. Kevin White, he ain't making this team. Mohamed
Mm.
Sanu, he couldn't even stay on the team. Yeah, Mohamed Sanu, he couldn't even stay on the team even with injuries.
And, and,
Richie
and,
James, yeah,
and Terry, you
go ahead.
mentioned Juwan Jennings. Him and
Yeah,
his hamstrings didn't get along last year either. Took him
exactly,
out all year
exactly.
long. I said,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah,
But
and
anyway,
then yeah, and then we got Trent Sherfield, which I think he's a special teamer. So I worry about that position. So I feel like that's more important than corner at this point. And I think we need a slot. I think we lost our most reliable receiver in Kendrick Bourne because he wasn't our best receiver, but he's most reliable. He played every
yeah.
game.
I mean, guy
So
was
with saying
indestructible.
this, yeah. So in saying that, with the second round, pick number 43 overall, the 49ers select Elijah Moore, wide receiver from Ole Miss. 5'9", 180 pounds, runs a
Old school.
4.3, 240.
Oh, speed. Speed. Yes. Oh, God.
So
Yes.
he's He's my favorite player in the draft. I love this dude, and I'm not picking him just because he's my favorite. I'm picking him because I feel like he's the fifth best receiver in this draft. Yeah, I feel like he's better than Terrace Marshall. I feel like he's better than Rashad Bateman. He's just electric. He's also only 20 years old. He's been playing at Ole Miss since he was a true freshman. He played with DK Metcalf and AJ Brown. As a freshman, he might even go earlier than this. Dude is electric. He can probably start at slot immediately. And I'm looking at the possibilities, of a 3-receiver set with Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Elijah Moore, and then with Kittle coming off the line, and with Kyle Juszczyk, Raheem Mostert. I mean, it'll be dynamic. I mean, and you give somebody like Trey Lance these weapons because they're all young, they're all under 25 years old, except for Kittle, he's a little bit older. But you look at Mostert, but the receiving core would be young, so they can learn and grow with Trey Lance. And I just feel like our defense is ahead of our offense at this point. But I feel like if we have an injury at wide receiver, we're going to be in trouble because there's nobody that can step in and be the number 2, in my opinion, unless Hurd has come back healthy. But I feel like Elijah Moore comes in, he starts immediately. He can help in the return game. And this dude is just a monster. So I take him in the second round. All right, with the third round, this is our pick number 102 overall. And it was kind of funny because when I saw that trade go down, it was conflicting reports. First, Adam Schefter said it was a 2021 third-round pick, and I was like, oh, okay. And then they were like, and then I heard reports after 2022 third-round pick. I'm like, well, which one is it? And finally, it was clarified that it was for next year. So I was like, okay, good. We can use this pick on some, to create some depth. So with the third-round pick, number 102 overall, I'm gonna go Trill Williams, cornerback out of Syracuse, 6'2". 196 pounds, was a 4.49 40.
We put a few pounds on him.
Yeah, he played in the slot a lot at Syracuse, but he's big enough and physical enough where he can play in the outside. I'm praying that Jason Verrett stays healthy because he's gonna be the key for us on the outside corner. But this guy,
Teran,
he won't have to. Go ahead.
Just one thing I want to say about this guy though, with that kind of size, if he's been playing the slot, this means nobody on the outside is going to be able to outmaneuver him. That means he's got he's got a lot of quick twitching fibers. You cannot be slow playing slot. I'm impressed with that, actually.
Yeah, and he's big. Like I said, he's big. He's 6'2", almost 200 pounds, and he runs under a 4.5, runs a 4.49 40.
Yeah.
And with the second and third round, I kind of went back and forth. I almost went corner second round and receiver third round. But, I look at the 49ers history, at least with Lynch and all them, every year I feel like we need a corner. And every year I feel like they don't wait. They wait until like third round or later to draft one, whether it was DJ Reed or Keller Witherspoon, because I feel like they bank on our pass rush to make our secondary better.
Yep.
He got, Ibukam, coming in. I heard Ford is running now, so hopefully he's getting healthy. Boast, I heard, was ready to come back towards the end of the year. I don't know what it is about him and his brother, but they heal up so quick.
No matter what they tear up, it's scary.
No matter what they tear up. So, I feel like with the improved pass rush, it'll help our secondary. And this Trill Williams guy, like I said, he played slot in Syracuse alongside of Kamala Wanfu's brother. That's the other big corner. So I feel like he can come in. He won't start right away, but he can learn from Verrett and Mosley and maybe can take over by, mid to late season if Emmanuel Mosley is struggling. So,
all right.
Any questions so far, Ronbo, or do you want me to keep going?
No, I've been interrupting every few seconds anyway. I've already, no, okay. I've got no questions. Huh?
All right. So with the fourth round pick number 117, we need some line.
I did forget one thing, though. If you have a question, please, we're not going to be able to find it because the chat is moving. Hashtag Q hashtag question. Either way, we'll see it, all right? And we'll relay it right to Teran. All right, Teran,
okay.
Go ahead.
All right, no problem. So with the fourth round, I was looking more at our defense. I'm looking at our linebacker depth, and we really don't have any. I mean, we signed that Nathan Gary, a couple days ago for depth, but I feel like if somebody were to go down like Drake Greenlaw or Fred Warner, we're going to be in trouble at linebacker. Aziz is pretty good, but I feel like his position could be upgraded. So there's going with linebacker Cameron McGrone out of Michigan. 6'1", 236 pounds, runs a 4.55 40, so he has speed. And I feel like as good as our defense is, I feel like, when I watch other teams, 'cause I watch a lot of football, not just the Niners, I feel like 49ers, one, last year they were the fourth oldest team in the NFL. And two, I look at our defense. I feel like we're one of the slowest defenses in the NFL. I feel like we don't have tons of speed, whether it's corner. We don't have a corner or anybody in the secondary that runs a blazing 40. Other than
Tavares.
Other than Tavares, more with the 4-3-2, but he doesn't start much. And I feel like our linebackers, with the guy with his speed running the 4-5, he still won't be as fast as Kyler Murray, but I feel like it'll help because I'm a Wolverines fan, and I watch his tape. I mean, he edges off he rushes off the edge. He's sideline to sideline. He has speed. So I feel like we can upgrade Aziz's position. And with Aziz, with Cameron McGrone, Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner being on the field, I feel like that's a more dynamic linebacker tandem. So I'm going with that to add depth to our linebacking core in the 4th round.
All right, because they've not said anything about Flanagan Foles yet, so I guess he's
Flanagan Foles, I haven't heard anything. I think he's still on the team, but I haven't really heard anything about him. So, in the 5th round, I'm going pick number 155 overall. I'm going Tommy Kraemer, offensive lineman for Notre Dame, 6'5", 319 pounds. Runs a 5'1", 40. He's a big dude. He's played offense. He played right guard and also right tackle in college, but they predict him to be more of a right guard in the pros. I feel like he'll add some depth. He'll add some stability and stuff if Brunskill were to get hurt. So I feel like he's going to start at right guard, and then two, he plays both right guard and right tackle, so that'll help that right side of the line. And we do need some interior line depth. He doesn't play center, and I know that's one position of concern, but I feel like Kyle likes veterans at center. So I feel like, that's something we can pick up maybe in free agency after the draft when somebody gets cut and stuff. Maybe somebody like in the mid 20s, late 20s to come in and be a backup to Alex Mack. So I feel like with center, it's one of those positions where you have to be so smart. They said the center position knows the playbook just as much as the offensive line, but much as the quarterback, because they got no other calls.
You still got Garland.
Yeah. So and I think he's out there still, right? I don't think we brought him back, did we?
You know what? I think about it. I don't know how he had a 1 year. You're right. He only had a 1 year contract. Yeah, he is still out there. Well, they could get him for cheap if nobody picks him up, and I don't think anybody is.
Yeah. And then for the fact we signed Alex Mack to a 3-year deal, he might only play 2 out of the 3, but we can still bring somebody in, young undrafted free agent or something, to learn behind Mack, and maybe he'll be ready in 2 years. So,
hopefully.
But I did bring in some offensive line depth for that right side. So, our third 5th round pick, because we have 3 picks in the 5th round. Pick number 172 in the 5th round. I'm going William Bradley King, defensive end, edge rusher from Baylor, 6'3", 250 pounds, runs a 4.7 40. He's not a bad player. He has 14.5 sacks in the last 2 years of Baylor. So, add some depth just in case we get some more injuries. We understand situations with D Ford, Bosa. I don't know what's happening with him, but like I said, I heard he's back healthy. We still got Contavia Street for depth, but Contavia Street, he's more of a power guy. With Ibukum and this guy here, he runs a 4.7, not blazing fast, but has enough speed to coming off the edge to complement Nick Bosa, or in case somebody gets hurt or something on that other side. So just add some depth. You can never have too many pass rushers in the NFL. So
not as far as I'm concerned. I agree.
Yeah, as far as you're concerned. And too, it's like with the more pass rushers you have, you keep your D linemen fresh.
Yes,
exactly. You keep them fresh. So and that's not bad. He's kind of on a small side. He played at 239 last year at Baylor. He's up to almost 250. So he's pretty light. So he needs to get stronger. But he's had, like I said, he's had 14.5. Yeah, still had 14.5 sacks in the last 2 years. So he's not a slouch.
The philosophy of all gas, no brakes does not leave with Saleh. So you're absolutely right to stock up on that area.
Yeah, and then and honestly, I'm more excited about DeMeco Ryans being our D coordinator than I was with Saleh. And it's nothing against Saleh. There's nothing against Saleh, but DeMeco Ryans, he hasn't played in the NFL, and And he's young. He's only like, he's in his, I think he's like 36 years old, and he knows the
Yeah.
way the NFL. He knows the way the NFL is going because he didn't play not too long ago, so he understands. And I think he's going to come with it as a defensive coordinator. So
In fact, I'm looking for his fingerprints on this defense too, because if nothing else, he picked up some of Saleh's brilliance, and you like you say, you combine that with his NFL actual experience. There's no telling what we're going to see this year.
exactly. So yeah. Well, actually, you know what? No, never mind. That was our second fifth round pick. Excuse me. So I'm going now to my fifth round. My last fifth round pick was a compensatory pick at 180. I'm going more cornerback depth. I'm going Robert Rochelle, cornerback from Central Arkansas. 5'11", 193 pounds, runs a 4.43 40. Small school guy, so not getting much recognition. But from as far as what I saw, he's a ball hawk. He's had 9 interceptions the last 2 seasons. And that's something that is lacking with us in the secondary. We don't really have a ball hawk. Jason Verrett, people usually don't go at him too much because last year he showed he can be healthy and he did a great job. But I feel like we don't have that corner that, gets pick sixes and stuff like that. And even though this guy played at a small school, he's 5'11", 193, so he's still big enough to play outside. He played outside at Central Arkansas, but he can play slot as well. Like I said, has 4.43 speed, 9 interceptions in 2 years, and he's a pretty sure tackler as well. So if he can get him in the 5th round, that'd be nice value for him. So
and Teran, I just want to piggyback on that. You know how the cover 3 usually wants that long body. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm any longer enamored with that thinking because Akello, Richard Sherman, Sherman's lost a little step. Although the quickness is usually not there, and they can get smoked in one-on-one situations. And if we're going to run a hybrid, I don't need a 6'2" guy. I need a 6 foot or 5'11" guy. At least, he doesn't have to be 5'9" or 5'10" like Verrett, unless he's exceptional like Verrett. But I like your idea there. Let's lean back off that requirement of 6'1", 6'2" guys. I do like that for DK Metcalf though. And also D-Hop, but still.
AJ Green, now that's in our division, but
Uh-oh.
but you look at other than you look at the Packers and you look at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has, you got Mike Evans. Atlanta has Julio Jones. I mean, you have the big receivers, but for the most part, nowadays, the way the NFL is going, everybody's kind of a smaller, shiftier type receiver,
Yeah.
If you look at it, with the Tyreek Hills and, stuff like that. But, I don't know. I mean, of course, it's nice to have a corner 6'2", 6'3", if you can pull it off. But I look at the top corners in the league, Tre'Davious White and all these other guys are 5'11", not the biggest guys, but they're quick. They got the flexible hips, got quick feet. And that's what you need now. That's what you need now in the NFL, like you said, especially now. A slot receiver now is a starter. It's not just a number 3 receiver anymore because so many people run multiple wide receiver sets.
Yep.
So with the 6th round pick number 194, I'm going another wide receiver to add some depth, just a bigger receiver that can help in the red zone. Because like I mentioned, we don't know the status of Hurd, Jennings, like I said, Kevin White. I don't think he's making his team. He's a camp body. We do have some. Everybody says we have big, we have big receivers, but none of them have done anything. So. And the reason why I'm going with this guy, 6th round pick 194, Josh Imatorbhebhe, wide receiver at Illinois. 6'2", 220.
How do you say that name again? Because I saw that name and I tried to pronounce it and I had to put some ice on my jaw. Well, how do you say it? Oh,
really? His name is Josh Imatorbhebhe.
Imatorbhebhe. Okay.
Imatorbhebhe with the I. Imatorbhebhe.
Imatorbhebhe.
Imatorbhebhe. Yes, sir.
Right.
He's a USC transfer. He used to play with the Trojans. He transferred to Illinois. Had poor quarterback play, but was pretty productive. He was used a lot in the red zone, and he has pretty good speed too, running a 4 or 5. But he's a big receiver, and what I like about him, if he's still available, he has a 47-inch vertical.
Ooh.
So it has some strong hands. And if you look him up, he went viral actually back when he was in high school, I believe, with that 47-inch vertical. I mean, dude can jump out the gym. He's ridiculous. I mean, in the red zone, he's not tall. He's only 6'2", but he's big. He weighs like 225 pounds. So he's a bigger receiver, muscled up guy. He's physical. Somebody that can help us in the red zone and possibly can be like can add some depth to the outside receiving core. And like I said, when we get in the red zone, we can use him. I mean, for something that, we can throw to the back of the end zone and stuff. Go ahead, Ronbo.
Exactly. And Terrence, I'm just hoping we can get a big guy in there that can survive. You look at Jalen, you look at Juwan. Everybody got excited on both guys, and these guys got stuck in preseason. Didn't get out of camp. So what's wrong with y'all,
Exactly.
man? Legs,
Yeah.
stretch out. You guys are long muscled. Make sure you're warm. Don't do nothing without being heated up with Jamal Jennings. Jalen Hurd is just a guy, a little bit like Jimmy. The bad luck just finds him. That's crazy. Nobody touched him in practice when you had that ACL last year. It was scary.
Yeah. And yes, people are probably thinking, we don't need two of our receivers. I disagree. Because of the simple fact, like I said, we have depth, but nobody has done anything. We signed that Trent Sherfield guy for a 1-year deal. I think he's a special teamer. Yeah. But when I did see him, when he played with Arizona, he made some nice catches on third down and stuff. But I don't see him playing, 80% of snaps or nothing like that. So he's just a depth guy. Because I don't see Kevin White, Sanu. I don't see Travis Benjamin. I just don't see them making the team. I mean, maybe Benjamin to add some speed or something to the roster and stuff as a veteran presence. As a veteran presence. But other than that, I don't see, I think our wide receiving core is okay. Like I said, you look at our 1 and 2 with Ayuk and Samuel, it's good, it's great. But after that, we don't have anybody that scares anyone. So,
and Teran, you're right to do that because I've not heard a word about Richie James. Who else? Kendrick is gone.
Kendrick's gone.
And Juwan's got to make the team. Yeah, he was drafted. Yeah. He's got 3 more years.
He was drafted. I think he was a 7th round pick last year, but he had a hamstring tear as well. But we kept him on the practice squad all year.
I was thinking about his status as far as being on the team. He's still got 3 more years to prove.
He's still on the team. He was drafted.
Yeah. So
Richie James. This is his last year on the team after this
Richie
season.
Does have okay. He does have one.
Yeah, he has 1 year left. Yeah, he has 1 year left. And we lost Trent Taylor too. That's another one that we lost.
Yeah, Taylor's out of here.
We lost Trent Taylor. So, like I said, I think we need some receivers. And what I focused on with these receivers have been healthy. They played in college. They didn't miss games due to injury. And I'm tired of us drafting these guys with injury histories because, as much as Kyle and John get frustrated that we have injuries, where you're bringing in these dudes that have injury histories. You look at D Ford. He's been injured almost his whole career in KC. You bring him over, and then you're frustrated because he's hurt. Well, he has injuries. He has history of being hurt, so shouldn't surprise you, So,
and Teran, the 49ers, I'm starting to wonder, are they conducting practice in a way that is not safe? I don't know why. Why do we have more injuries than everybody?
I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what the issue is, but yeah. So, and then with our last pick, in the 7th round pick, number 230 overall, I'm going Rakeem Boyd, running back out of Arkansas. 6 foot, 205 pounds. Runs a 4.52. Yeah, runs a 4.52 240. He's a bigger back. He had kind of a down year in 2020. 2019, he had like 1,100 yards and like 8 touchdowns. He was pretty solid, but in 2020, he just kind of had a down year, and with the depth at running back, I won't say the depth at running back, with the way teams are going away with running back, I feel like he'll fall. He probably has 5th round value, but with the way, teams are going away from running back, a lot of teams thinking, well, I can get a 5th, 6th rounder, who can produce just as well as a 3rd rounder. So I feel like running backs, you always find depth. I mean, you look at somebody like Salvin Ahmed and Jermichael Hasty last year, who had talent, and they didn't even get drafted. They didn't even get drafted. So, yeah, so you're looking at it now, how, they can find a lot of talent, but so, and obviously we may not go running back, but I feel like, he has 5th round value. With the 7th round pick, you take a chance on somebody like that who's been healthy as well. He can catch out of the backfield, so he gives you receiving ability and he can run. Jermichael Hasty, I don't know how well he's going to come back from his ACL tear. Austin Walter, he doesn't excite me.
I mean, he can't block. But he's
And no
hard to
disrespect,
bring
and no
down, Teran.
disrespect to him, but he doesn't impress me. So we're going in with Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. I love Jeff Wilson. I think he'll have a bigger impact this year.
Yeah,
So, but I
tough
feel
guy.
like we need to add some depth to this team. So,
I
and
think
that,
Hasty.
and,
I think Hasty took his shoulder out though, Teran. Wasn't it? I don't know. He didn't have an ACL, did he?
I thought he had an ACL. I don't know. I could be. I thought it was ACL tear. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
Somebody in the comments tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure. I thought it was. I know it was a
Yeah.
season-ending injury for sure, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I could be.
I think it
But
dislocated his shoulder.
with that pick, it concludes my draft. As you can tell, I didn't make any trades because we have so many one-year deals that I feel like we need to add some young pieces on our team to add some depth. So, because after next year, we're going to be in the same situation where we're going to be having to re-sign some guys. So instead of me using picks to trade up to get more picks, I just use all of our draft picks. So
Yeah,
that,
not a bad idea.
yeah.
And some of the guys who are re-signing the 1 year deals may not make the mustard cut this year, so they might be easier to get rid of them, like Trent
So,
Taylor.
yeah.
Anyway, let's see. Collie Young says, okay, we'll start from the top. Nick
right.
Motown, Zach Wilson looks like he's still in junior high.
Yeah, he does.
He does look like a kid, doesn't he?
He does. He
may have
does. He looks
lied.
like he's like 17.
I know he may have lied about his age. Paul III, thanks. Does Elijah Moore doesn't fit this offense? Teran, was that one of your picks, Elijah Moore?
Yes, he was, and I don't see how he doesn't. I mean, this guy is amazing. He runs great, crisp routes. I mean, he does everything. I mean, I don't see how Elijah Moore doesn't fit this offense. We're in need of a nice slot receiver, and I don't think there's. I mean, other than his size, he has no weaknesses. He runs great routes. He has great hands. I think he would fit well in Kyle's system, because Kyle's all about timing and crisp routes and stuff like that. I think, and he can get open. So I disagree with that. I disagree. And matter of fact, Elijah Moore at 43, he's so good. I can honestly say he might not even be there at 43. He might go earlier. So whoever said that, I disagree.
There you go, Paul III. And Collie Young says, Teran, I'm loving the draft so far, fam. There you go. And Collie.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks for that contribution, Collie. And first round pick at number 3, Trey Lance, North Dakota State, QB. Second round pick at number 43, Elijah, somebody doesn't appreciate it more. Wide receiver from Ole Miss. And third round pick, number 102, Trill Williams, cornerback, Syracuse. And fourth round, Notre Dame, where they build offensive linemen. Mike McGlinchey can run block. Don't talk about him now. All right. Fifth round pick, number 2, William Bradley King, edge, Baylor. Fifth round I love that word, compensatory. Pick number 180, Robert Rochelle, cornerback, Central Arkansas. And sixth round pick, 193, Josh. Yeah, I got the name.
Imatorbhebhe.
I was going to give it a shot. Imatorbhebhe. If he was on the team, Bebe. That's all I'd ever call him, too. Wide receiver, Illinois. And a seventh round pick, number 230, Rakeem Boyd, Arkansas. There it is. That's Terrence. He covered all the bases, too. Brunel Jacobs wants to know, Teran, this. In your opinion, if we draft Justin Fields, how do you see him working out in Kyle's offense?
I think he'll work out just fine. I like him too. Like I said, I'm a Wolverines fan, so I watch a lot of Ohio State games as well. And I feel like, I don't know if it's that offense or what. It's kind of a gimmicky offense. So I think if he's set for a year behind, whether it's Jimmy or Josh Rosen, whatever, I think he'd be okay too. But he reminds me too much of Kaepernick to where he has a one read. He looks at one read, and then when that read is not there, he kind of dances around a little bit. So, don't get me wrong, he's great, but I just feel like with Trey Lance, he offers more upside, and he has a better arm than Justin Fields. You know, although Fields is a better runner, but I feel like, you know, with Trey Lance only being 20 years old, I just can't believe that kid's 20. He's only 20 years old, and he has it all put together. He can make every throw, and hopefully, I mean, you know, I'm not holding my breath, but you know, you look at these dudes. I mean, he reminds me kind of a Josh Allen coming out, because they said the same thing. Oh, he didn't play against enough talent. He played at Wyoming. He has a strong arm, but he's not very accurate. But he learned how to be accurate. He learned how to put it together. And I feel like that's how it's going to be with Trey Lance. Not saying he's going to be the same player, but they're similar as the way they talk about them coming out, because I think Trey Lance has the best arm of all the quarterbacks in this draft.
You know, you mentioned Josh Allen. He did come in the first year. You know, everybody's usually impatient with every quarterback, expecting him to come out of college and just segue right in and look awesome in his first year. Josh was also knocked, beat, slapped for that first year. And the second year, was this his second? Last year was his second or third? That was his second year last year, right?
No, this year was his third year. He came out in 2018.
And all of a sudden, Josh Allen, after a little bit of seasoning, which a lot of fans refuse to allow, you see what you got? And like you're saying, he maybe didn't play enough games while coming into the NFL. He's got enough now. And apparently he has a good coach, too. He also got a great receiver in Stephon Diggs that will cover up a lot of any problems. And now look at him. He's a feared quarterback. So I agree. I tell you, and also about Fields, you're saying exactly what I didn't want to say, because I'm not the kind of guy that watches a lot of college football, so people give me a lot of grief about that. But the first thing I noticed about Fields, you take too long to make up your mind. Throw the damn ball. So, you know, that's why I said I don't understand what the attraction is in him. But you're right. He's a great runner. He does remind you of Kaepernick, because when he takes off, he's gone. But Trey Lance has that same thing, though. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and like I said, with Trey Lance, I see him. He reads through his progressions more, and also with Trey Lance, you know, he lines up behind center. He's running a pro-style offense, so I feel like him lining up under center gives him more of an advantage. And I really just think he just has the. I don't know. To me, his upside is just much better than Justin Fields. It's just my opinion, but I know with Justin Fields, it's a situation where. You know, I know he has a relationship with Kyle, because I think he was in his high school quarterback, something like that. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Justin Fields either. So
he and also with Trey Lance, you know what I like when he starts running? People will get hurt trying to bring him down. That's a big dude. And you say he's 20? What is he going to look like when he's 22 or 23? A truck driving down the road. I see him coming down the field on a highlight. I laughed. This one dude dived at him, and George Kittle couldn't have got rid of that guy any better.
Said, and you know what's funny about him too? I wouldn't be surprised if he got taller. I mean, you know, he's 6'3" right now, but being 20 years old, he might hit 6'5". And you know, I like him. I like his weight at 225. Even if he can get to like 235 without looking sloppy, you know, if he's 235 on muscle and can keep that speed, you know, he's just. I think he's going to be a beast, man. And like I said, he doesn't have to be rushed in. You know, he can sit, but he can be like a Patrick Mahomes situation. Sit behind Alex Smith, you know, learn, read the playbook, you know, get acclimated with everything. And I think 2022 will be his year. So
that's right. And you know, the thing is like you said, he gets bigger, he gets stronger. I see a Cam Newton too, but maybe a modern day Cam Newton too, which will probably actually add a little bit more juice. I like that. All right. 13th, underline I3. He says, we need J.C. Horn now. How do we get him? You know, Terrence, because everybody is concerned. You talked about the cornerback situation throughout your draft there too. Go ahead and address that.
It's not happening. We don't have any picks to give up. We don't have a first round pick next year. We don't have a first round pick in 2023. So I just don't see it happening. I think we're content. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't know. And it's funny. I did the research. You know, the 49ers haven't drafted a first round corner since Mike Rump.
How long ago?
What did Rump come in? 2002 maybe? We haven't drafted a cornerback in the first round in almost 20 years.
I mean, you know,
I don't know. I don't know what it is about the Niners. I mean, I remember we drafted like Ahmed Plummer in the first round. We used to, but I don't know what it is. I think when it comes down to it, I think if we would have stayed at 12, I think,
Horn would have been in
maybe
play.
Patrick Surtain would have been in the question, but after seeing him and everything, I don't think he makes it to 12. I don't like Caleb Farley because that back issue scares me. I'm tired of drafting injured players.
Is he got a back
He didn't
issue?
play. Yeah, he didn't play. So Virginia Tech had their pro day, like I want to say on Wednesday. He didn't participate because he had a herniated disc. He had to have surgery on.
That's serious.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling that. Horn, I do like him. I think 12 would have been early for him. He is good, but I just don't see that happening. I feel like we'll go corner second or third round, or knowing this team, who knows? It could be not to the fourth round because I feel like 49ers do not like drafting secondary. I would say corners early for some reason. Jimmy Ward was drafted, but he was a free safety. He was out of Northern Illinois. He was drafted 30 overall, but he wasn't a corner. He was a safety. I just don't see it. I feel like we trust our pass rush enough to make our corners better. Kind of like in 2012 we had Carlos Rogers and Terrell Brown playing corner. I mean, and then when they leave, you never hear of them again.
Because neither one of them are first-round products, and we've had that all down through the years. You're right, Teran. You're absolutely right about that pass rush.
Yeah. Well, Carlos Rogers, he was a first-round pick with the Redskins.
Was he?
The Redskins picked him first round, but he was kind of a bust there. We picked him up. He's a Pro Bowler. Had I think that year we went to the Super Bowl, he had like 8-9 picks that year. But it's because of the Smith brothers with all the Justin Smith.
Thank you. So I was getting ready to say that Pro Bowl.
Yeah. So I just don't see it. I don't know. I don't think I think Horn's out the question. If we don't get, I think maybe if we go corner, you look at somebody like maybe Asante Samuel. Maybe, if they want to trade down, they can go like Kelvin Johnson out of Kentucky, or Kelvin Joseph, out of Kentucky. Eric Stokes, he might be there at 43, but with that fast 40 he ran, that 4.32 40, he might not even be there. So I don't know. I'm just at 43. I went with best player available, and I kind of admit, like I mentioned, I feel like slot receiver and just receiver depth overall to me is more important than corner at this point.
There you go. And George Silos, he said, "Hey, Teran, what positive sticks out about this season to you that gives us any advantages?"
What I like about it is we're returning a similar roster from our Super Bowl run. That's the positive I see. I feel like, with a healthy roster, I feel like this team would have won at least 11 games last year. We were just hurt. I feel positive, and I feel good about that because, I feel like if we draft, when we go either Trey Lance, Fields, Mac Jones, whoever it may be, they're going to be set up for success going forward. Because I feel like we don't have a bad roster at all. I think we have a top 12 to 15 roster at this point, maybe even better depending on health, because, but I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, just to make a long story short, it comes down to injuries. If we're healthy, I like our schedule because we finished fourth in the division. So that means we're going to play every last place team in the NFC. We're going to be playing every team that finished last, and we're bringing back a nice roster. So
set up for success, and your bottom line, we're set up for success just because of last year's fail, putting us in position to play the worst teams. Another thing, Teran, the thing is, it's continuity. This is why a team that's been together for any length of time has speed. They can move quickly. There's not a lot of thinking going on out there. And there's not the Akello Witherspoon in the secondary. You know how Kello used to make me so mad? He said, Kello just missed his assignment. He's late. Or he didn't see something. Here come the arms. He's looking around like, what? It's not my fault. Well, I was the one to do my job. Kelly, stop with the arms. That was you. Or else he gets worked over by a cornerback the wide receiver with great moves and can't flip in time. So, Spoon,
or with Akello, he'll be in position, and if he just turned his head around, he'd have an interception.
Yep.
He was so bad at not turning. He reminded me of Shante Spencer that we had out of Pitt that one for a couple of years here in San Francisco. That corner we drafted. He'd be in great position, but would never turn his head around. I'm like, that's something you get taught in Pop Warner as a corner. You turn your head around. Like I never got that.
Terry, you mentioned that. It's like also in Pop Warner. The cornerbacks, secondary people, they don't backpedal anymore. Pointed that out. Prime. I was laughing because Prime was pointing that out as he was sitting there watching the combine last year. He's watching the workout and the guys getting ready down on the field. And he says, "You know what? Look, see that technique right there? You don't see that no more." I was wondering what he's talking about. You don't never see anybody backpedaling anymore. All these dudes get into these foot races with these dudes and they lose. He says, you'll have better vision. Backpedal. Every coach says, dance. Now spin. Because now you get an idea of his route and where he's going. It's amazing. They don't teach that technique anymore.
True.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Man. But yeah, pass rush, cornerbacks, it's all part of the same thing. We're going to see that.
Yeah.
With Miko. I love what you pointed out. Miko, he's of this generation. He's going to see some things and make some alterations that are probably going to be positive, as I can see. That's why they picked him.
Mm-hmm.
So, feeling good about that. Darren, you want to add anything else?
No. I think that's it. I mean,
people like your draft.
no, I think that's it. I think the way I added my mock. Of course, obviously going in the top three. We're picking a quarterback, and obviously I like Zach Wilson a little bit better than Trey Lance. I just think he's so smart. Like I feel like you get him in the playbook, he'll probably be able to start sooner than later. But I don't know. And people are funny. They're like, oh, Robert Saleh, let Kyle in on a little thing where they're not taking a quarterback. Well, the thing about Robert Saleh, he doesn't have the control like Kyle has. He's not going to be in control of the draft. He might have a say so, but he doesn't get final say like Kyle does. So I don't think he would risk his job to say, oh, hey, Kyle, we're taking Panay Sewell, so go ahead and move up to the 3 to get Zach Wilson. I just don't see that happening.
In fact, he better be quiet. I agree.
Absolutely.
Saleh does not have any business, and they
Exactly.
probably told him, now that you work for us. So.
Yeah, exactly. And this is his first year on the job. I don't think he wants to ruin anything and something leaked that, he mentioned something to the 49ers and all this other stuff. So I truly believe it's going to be Lawrence and then Wilson. And I just have a feeling that we're going with Trey Lance because as much as Kyle has a history of going and picking quarterbacks who like to stay in the pocket, because as you remember, the owner for the Redskins, I'm sorry, I keep saying the Redskins, sorry, the Washington football team.
WFT.
So, the Washington football team, Dan Snyder he picked RG3, and Kyle and his dad didn't want him. He wanted Kirk Cousins like in the second round. So they told him, well, if we get RG3, because do you remember that draft? They picked RG3 and Kirk Cousins same draft. Mm-hmm. I was even puzzled, like, why would they take two quarterbacks? Because Kyle did not want it. Yeah, he wanted Kirk Cousins because he felt Kirk Cousins was the better quarterback. So, but I think, like I said, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Kyle, I think he realizes his mistakes. I feel like he realized, like, man, I had Deshaun Watson, I had, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes in my back pocket, and I passed on each and every one of them. So I think he sees the writing on the wall. I think he knows the NFL is going different. And I understand Tom Brady is not a runner. He won a Super Bowl, but not everybody's Tom Brady. If you look at the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, or people who are ascending, the Kyler Murrays, Josh Allen, stuff like that. Then you look at the Russell Wilsons, Patrick Mahomes, want to play this defense is too fast nowadays. You look at all these dudes, Michael Parsons running a 4.3, Jason Owell, or how you ever say his name from Penn State, running a 4.3. These dudes are fast now. Like, you got to have these quarterbacks who can move,
I agree. So,
So I don't know anything. I feel like the way the draft was, I feel all of our need and depth. I feel like, Elijah Moore, I don't know who, like I said, somebody said he doesn't fit this offense. I'm telling you, you add a Trey. You add a Trey.
You made Teran mad with that.
Well, I just don't get it. Like if you watch this dude play, he runs every route. He's so polished. He came into Ole Miss as a starting freshman, 18 years old, playing a slot alongside DK and AJ Brown, and he excelled. So, but like I said, he's the type of guy Kyle is looking for. I believe somebody who runs short, crisp route. So, So I feel like you give him Debo, Ayuk, Kittle to Trey Lance. Oh, this offense to take off.
You're so right. The Niners lady, what is that? Is that Niners? Yeah, we don't allow spamming, so we're gonna warn you once, stop it, or we'll have to give you some time out. But yeah, you're right. I agree. Route runner Kyle even told George Kittle year before last, As good as George was, he just set records. Yeah, you need to work on your route running.
Yeah.
Kyle's serious about the route runners. Man, don't be, because his system is set up so timing is of the essence. If you can't get separation, if you can't run that route, then it bothers me. As far as that's the way Kyle works. So, yeah, George, even my tight end better be running crisp, sharp routes, and he improved. So, you're right.
So yeah, other than that, Rumble, I don't have anything else to add unless there's any more questions. So.
All right, fam. And I enjoyed it as usual. And Teran, big round of applause, bro. Looking forward to next year already. Teran,
Yes,
thank you. And I'm gonna give the holler out right now. Then.
All right.
Thanks, get a Teran. We'll see you in a little bit. All right.
No problem. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure.